This is my agenda. I'm going to talk about what's happening around us, right? Well, a big change is happening, change at a great speed, and we need to catch that speed. In fact, to be ahead of the others and to have a demanding package, to have not to have the rotational shifts, maybe to work at your convenience, to get work from homes, to get all other leisures and luxuries at workplace. You need to multiply the speed that things are happening today, uh, so that you'll be ahead of what's happening. That probably helps you in what you're looking for. And then to talk about who is driving this change, is there something kind of a plan thing that is happening? Who is doing for what purpose? Is that good or bad? Right? We'll talk about it, and then we'll take you to Azure 533 or Azure administration technical role, like what technical topics are covered in that certification. In fact, that certification is being discontinued or deprecated from 31st December 2018. So they plan to have two other certifications, that is AZ100 and AZ101. Uh, so we'll talk about it and what should be your learning path, what is mentioned in the blueprint, all of that stuff. The agenda, well, that is what is happening around us. I know that some of you guys must be experienced, but maybe give me initial 10-15 minutes of time so that I'll make you understand what actually happening around us, and then why you see very less number of opportunities in the common roles, like maybe in server admin, Linux admin, Windows admin, network admin, storage admin, database administrator, middleware, ERP tools, maybe normal big data, on-premises big data things, right? Why a lot of politics happening nowadays. Off late, you see in any organization, the level of games that are happening nowadays is like changed like anything, because everybody feels that heat of the job security issue, right? Why is that happening? One thing common across all the companies. So we'll help you understand that part. Well, around us, a big change is happening. Okay, a big change. You talk to anybody, there is a change, and the change is the cloud. Well, you can ask me. Well, I know a friend of mine working in a machine learning area, but definitely cloud is not change there. It's machine learning. Well, I know another friend of mine. He's working in big data analytics. He's getting a good package, but the change in that area is not cloud. It's the analytics, big data, or data science. I know another friend of mine who's working in DevOps. He's also earning good money. There, the change is not cloud. But how can you generalize saying cloud is a change that is the big change? Well, if you observe, you ask anybody, DevOps that you're talking about, where is it implemented? Where it is being implemented? Maybe, I mean, if you understand DevOps, well, it is going to be altogether a different discussion, but a high level, DevOps is about automating things that you do normally or manually. It's about build automation. It's about CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery, right? So build automation, where are you automating the builds? Where are you automating the deployments, right? If you have infrastructure on premises, the physical servers, you will be automating them. If you have virtualization on premises, you'll be automating them. But things are in the cloud. You talk to any company, it is a startup, mid-level, or a multinational company, at least some portion of their infrastructure in the cloud. And everybody's focus going forward will be cloud. Well, of course, I'll tell you why. You do not have to believe me that things are going into the cloud, but I'll give you a technical justification on why it is. Okay, but now in the context of the discussion, well, the DevOps is in the cloud. That's only when, I mean, if you learn DevOps in the cloud, then only your career will be long lasting. If you happen to learn DevOps on premises, well, nobody is having the on premises data centers in the first place. Then who is interested in hiring somebody who's expert in DevOps on premises? Then machine learning. Machine learning, any application that you're hosting, that is of a machine learning, right? You see where it is being hosted in the cloud. You talk about big data analytics, data science, where it is being hosted. Even Apache, which is a Hadoop big data clusters, are also being deployed into the cloud, and we call them as EMR clusters, Elastic MapReduce, or a data lake in Azure cloud, right? So, and maybe you talk any other talk about any other application. It could be a e-commerce application, it could be a simple blog or a website, um, or anything, right? It is being implemented in the cloud. That's the reason today I wanted to generalize that a big change that is happening around is the cloud. Okay, so well, what is this cloud, Venkat? Right. Well, the cloud is delivering IT services over the internet technologies in pay as you go, on demand, self-service way is called the cloud. Come on, hold on a while. I don't understand what it is. A book definition, I can Google it, right? What is a cloud? I Google it, I got this definition. But what it actually means, it means the big companies like Google, Amazon, Microsoft says that we deliver the data center or the IT services, that is servers, networking, storage, database, big data, analytics, machine learning, platform as a service offerings, software as a service offerings, mobile application development, the directory services like Active Directory or LDAP, the networking services like your switches, routers, everything is delivered over the internet, right? They say, they say, well, buddies, why would you invest a huge amount of money in setting up the data centers with servers, network, and all other resources? Instead, you being a customer connected to our data centers over the internet and make use of these services, any individual or a combination of any service, right? You just need a server, well, happy, come and use a server from us. You need a server storage, well, use it, use the combination of it. You need a server storage and database, well, use it, or database alone, use it. So uh, cloud computing is delivering IT services. I'm saying, remember, information technology services. It could be a software, it could be a application, it could be a server, it could be a piece of storage, a database, anything is delivered over the internet technologies to the customers is called the cloud computing. Of course, there is a lot that we need to discuss in cloud computing area, like the delivery models, like platform as a service, software as a service, infrastructure as a service. Then the deployment models like the private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, community cloud, right? And then the essential qualities of the cloud computing, like on-demand, pay-as-you-go, self-service, rapid elasticity, uh, and then broad network access. Well, that's a different discussion altogether. But then, in the interest of today's topic, right? Cloud is a big change that every company is moving to it. And to understand the cloud, well, it is nothing but delivering IT services over the internet to the customers, right? So then, what's happening around? Again, the same question. The answer is change at a great speed, right? Change at a great speed. If you see a couple of years back, maybe early 2010, 11, I was working in Mumbai for HP. I was the SME for 22 accounts, BOB, Andhra Bank, Hutchison 3 Global Services now is taken by Tech Mahindra, called as Tech Mahindra Business Services. So there are 22 different accounts handled by HP. I mean, I was the SME for those 22 accounts in western region of Mumbai. So then I was like working with pretty much every IT manager and to convince them to virtualize their Exchange, to virtualize their SQL databases, to exchange to virtualize their Oracle databases, and to virtualize their web servers. I'm not a product seller of VMware virtualization, but being a technology expert, I was giving the suggestions, making numerous presentations to help them understand in their given scenario how virtualization would help them in terms of the backups, in terms of the availability, the capital expense, and the operating expenses. Well, then they were not ready with the wrong perception that virtualization will degrade the performance. Virtualization uh, is not for the mission critical or real time applications. But then change is inevitable. You see, today, maybe until 2015, every organization is having the virtualization in place. And you see, today, we have reached the next level, that is cloud computing. And if you follow the news, 2012 or 2011, the CEO of Oracle has to make a statement: cloud computing for customer sensitive information is always a dream. It's never gonna happen. By year 2014, just in 2 years, that they are the leaders in that space that he commented in. They've taken over the Salesforce. Now it has become Oracle's product. In the ERP space, that they are the leaders, right? That's how the things have changed. And today you see things are changing even faster. Why? Right? Why things are changing at a great speed? Why? Because you see a number, it's nice, good color, right? What is the relevance of it, Venkat? Well, relevance is a lot of savings that everybody posting. Oracle says, I mean, let's say the IBM says, well, we have opted to the cloud computing and we have saved this amount of money. TCS says that we've also opted to the cloud and we have saved, even a bigger number. Infosys says we've opted to the cloud and we have saved even bigger number. So everybody is posting their numbers, saying X plus 2, X plus 10, X plus 100, X plus 1000, the savings. So as everybody is posting the bigger numbers, the more companies are going for it. So it's like the more customers. As the more customers are going and everybody is saying it is success. Everybody is saying it is success, right? So when you see the numbers of that big companies are in good number going to the cloud, that too companies in different industries, you see, I'm not sure if you guys are aware that the HDFC, now they are running their applications in cloud, AWS cloud. You talk about the banking companies, you talk about government organizations, you talk about educational institutions, healthcare organizations, the normal IT companies, right? Pretty much everybody in all the industries opting to the cloud, and they are saying that we have saved the money, we have saved the time, we have, and it is all success. It is more agile, more durable, or maybe you say more time saving in the cloud. So it's 100% success everybody is reporting. Then people are what? Jumping to the cloud. But then, Venkat, is that something that they're posting or it is true? It is true. Yes, it is true. Can you explain me how? How a cloud computing is saving money, giving you more security, giving you more durability, right? Saving a lot of time. How? Right? Well, it eliminates upfront cost. How? Let me ask you a question. If you are to buy a laptop, what would you do? You decide on a configuration, maybe two CPUs, 8 gigs of RAM, or 16 GB of RAM, and you go to a shop. He says a price, let's say 1 lakh rupees. Microsoft Surface Pro or any other HP laptop, you see the high-end one, a minimum of 1 lakh. You buy it, right? So if you need a computer, you need a good configured laptop, good looking, highly configured, lightweight, easy to carry, best performing, right? 1 lakh. You have to spend that 1 lakh rupee. There is no other way. And if the organizations have to have a server in place, right? Even now you can get off, I mean, once you are off of the presentation, off of the session, you can go to any official website, maybe from Dell or IBM, HP or Cisco, any other hardware selling company website you see, a server, an entry level server will cost you approximately 10 lakh rupees. Entry level server, a basic server. And if you see a high end server, no surprise, If you see a real-time uh, components and everything, you will see a server of at least 1 crore rupees. Okay, let's take the normal numbers. Don't be fancy. Let's take 20 lakh rupees a server. Okay, now if you have to build a data center of 100 servers, what happens? 100 into 20 lakhs, just the servers. And then what you need to buy? Operating system licenses. And then what you need to buy? The application licenses. And then what you need to buy? The application support. What you need to buy? The operating system support. What you need to buy? The hardware support. And then what you need to do? Hire all the verticals of teams like server team, network team, storage team, testing team, software development team, right? And then what you need to do? Managers for all the verticals, manager, senior manager, CIO, CTO, director, blah blah blah. Imagine how much of cost it is gonna be. Imagine how much of cost it is gonna be, right? That's where these cloud companies are coming and saying, well buddies, why do you do all of that? We have the data centers built already with servers, networking, storage, analytics, big data, monitoring, access control, machine learning, artificial intelligence, whatnot. What do you need? We have 100 plus different services in our portfolio, right? You don't pay a single penny initially. You don't pay anything initially. You pay a zero. You start use any combination of these services, any individual or combination of these services, and at the end of the month, based on your consumption, we will send you a bill. It's just like your power consumption. If you need a power at your house, well, we will not set up a thermal power generation station. It could be the water, or it could be thermal, I mean the coal burning or wastage burning or wind power. No, we will rent the power services from government companies, and based on our consumption, end of the month we will pay the bill. That's all. The similar model, they say you do not have to invest the huge amount of money initially. Instead, come and use our services and pay for what you actually use end of the month. That is eliminating huge initial cost. Well, I'm not reading something from the book. Remember, guys, you put yourself into that situation and you'll understand, because today you are in a mindset to learn a new technology, and somebody is suggesting Azure, somebody is suggesting you DevOps, somebody is suggesting you something else, maybe, uh, you know. But then you need to understand why. If I learn the technology, how long the demand will continue? What will be? I mean, how long will I have the long lasting career? What is the justification, right? So you see, that's if there are such benefits, advantages, no, tell me who will not go there. Venkal, I doubt. Maybe they have some restrictions. I can only have 2 servers created. I only have 10 servers created. Maybe servers of 1 CPU, 2 GB RAM. Don't you think such kind of rules and regulations gonna be there? Well, they say you start with 0 servers and you can scale to thousands of servers. There is no restriction. You can create a server with 1 CPU, zero point 0.5 GB of RAM, and you can scale up to 128 CPUs and 4 terabyte of RAM as of today, and it may increase in future. In between, there are many options given to you, from 1 CPU, 0.5 GB of RAM, 128 CPUs, and 4 TB of RAM. Okay, so you have that scalability. There are no boundaries. In a traditional on-premises, let's say you purchase a laptop of 2 CPUs and 8 GB of RAM, you invest a lot of money into it, and you realize this configuration doesn't suit you, and you need to go for maybe 4 CPUs and 16 GB of RAM. Do you think that you can easily change this? without any loss. You have to sell this at a discounted rate, 20% less, 30% less, 40% less, 50, based on your urgency, the condition of a product. Even if you return it immediately to the shop, they are not going to take it. Okay. Now, what is the option? If that is the case with your laptop, and imagine about the servers, right? But here in AWS or in Azure, in Google Cloud, in Oracle Cloud, you just can change the capacity, the size of it in just matter of minutes. That too without losing a single penny. And then it increases your availability, because let's say if I have a mission critical application, what do I do is I have two CPUs, 8 gigs of RAM with a Windows Server operating system installed on it, and then there is a possibility that this server may go down, right? And in fact, to talk about the high availability, we will start this at a component level. I have a single network interface card in a server. If that fails, so you bring another one, you configure the teaming. So if one fails, the other will automatically take care. And when it comes to the hard disks, you'll bring minimum of two, you configure RAIDs, right? RAID 1, 0, 1, 0, 5, different RAIDs. So they are configured in a team. If one fails, one hard disk fail, you have the other one to take care. And you'll bring minimum of two HBAs. You configure them in team. You have got multi-pathing and all of that stuff. If one fails, you have the other one to take care of the load of your storage traffic. That way, you have got two power supplies, you have got two fans, possible number of components on your server to be redundant. But still, after doing all of it, what if the entire server fails? Your application is down. Have you ever seen Google saying that I have a server failure? Have you ever seen YouTube saying that I have a server failure? Facebook. If the free services are of that highly available, imagine your paid services, right? That's where, to deliver maximum uptime to your customers, you'll bring minimum of two servers, you will configure them in clustering. In the backend, what's happening? Your investment is doubled, as you have to bring two identical servers, two operating systems, two application licenses, right? But in the cloud, you have a standard SLA delivered to you, 4 nines of SLA. To achieve 4 nines on premises, you have to create two servers minimum, put them into the load balancer. That to a highly available, that to a high-end servers. So you have that a high availability by default in the cloud. Security, right? So there is a wrong perception in IT today. Most of the times with the IT managers, because they are the decision makers, they feel, if I have a server in my data center, assume this is your data center, and if I have servers, networking, storage, everything inside my data center, I feel that it is secure. I feel that it is secure, right? But it is actually not, right? It really doesn't matter where the data or your servers are, but it matters because it is today, everything is connected to the internet. Your data center is connected to internet. The cloud data centers are also connected to internet. When things are connected to internet and the applications are being operated on the internet, it really doesn't matter where the physical location of the servers or application is, but it matters what kind of security policies, standards, compliances that you're running. Okay, you go to your IT manager today and you ask, like, sir, how many standards that we have for our data center, how many certifications and compliances that you follow. You will see he may say, sir, we are ISO 9001 certified. That's all. There is nothing else. But in the cloud, you see there are at least 50 different standards, certifications, and compliances that Azure, Microsoft, and the Google companies are following, right? And they know what actually happening in IT, so they can immediately take actions. They can keep their environment always up to date with respect to the security things. This is not something that I'm verbally telling you to convince the companies on and you, but this is something documented. And when we make some progress into the classes, I can show you what specific certifications and standards and compliances that the providers are having, right? And then the mobility. You go anywhere in the world, you have the servers connected. It's all internet based. Not necessarily you have to connect all your servers to the internet, but yes, There are again security things coming into the picture, like you have your own router, you have your own firewalls, you've got your own ports and protocols, and the source IP addresses to allow. Well, I mean, you have that security things in place, but I'm just telling you, the data center is mobile, that it can be moved. Well, let's say today you are in Azure, you wanted to move to AWS, possible. Google, possible. Oracle, possible. Even to on-premises, possible, right? So there is no vendor locking thing in the cloud. It's mobile. You can move them. You can move servers anywhere. You can connect them from anywhere. All you need is an internet connectivity and a VPN client installed on it. Now tell me, now tell me, who will not go to the cloud? It eliminates your capital expense. It reduces a lot of operating expense. You have the great scalability. There is no boundary. You can do both scale up and scale out. Huge high availability, 4 nines of availability, day one delivered to you, and you can also make 5 nines, 6 nines, all nines, 10 nines by combining different services, right? And you have security, mobility, right? It's wonderful. But then who is driving the change? Veget. Who is bringing all these features into the industry? Why are they doing? Is that change good or bad for us? Right? Well, big companies like Microsoft, like Amazon, like Google, Oracle, Alibaba, all these companies are driving this change. Okay, so uh, as these companies are driving the change, saying, "Hey, you come to us, we will give you a server for 1 rupee," and Amazon says, "Hey, you come to us, I'll give you a server for 80 paisa." Google says 70 paisa, Oracle says 60, and it's a circle. And Azure says we will give it to you 50 paisa. So there is such kind of a healthy competition in the market. And you know the other factor, I'm not sure if you guys follow the news. 2017, in the month of August or September, uh, the CEO of Amazon company, Andy Jassy, have becomes the world's richest person for a while and dropped down to the second place now. We all knew for how many years and decades that Microsoft is in the IT industry, and how many dozens or hundreds of products they have in their portfolio. In spite of Microsoft making efforts for these many years in different areas, Amazon in the industry just for 5 years or less than that, right? They have generated revenue many times bigger than Microsoft. It is because industry that they have selected, the cloud business, is fetching them the huge profit levels. So from Amazon's the overall profit levels, Amazon Kindle, the bookshop, Amazon e-commerce site, and the cloud, 85 or 90% of the profit is actually coming from the cloud services. Okay, that's where the other companies realized the fact. So in spite of they give us many times the discounts, still they have the huge profits. So they're putting the same profits into the investment to bring out more and more features, uh, to develop more features. That's where it's making a better business case to the customers, the companies, like all these companies, and they are making a better business case. Hey, when I'm getting this service in the cloud for a better price, better security, better availability, scalability, durability, management overhead, then why would I do it on premises? Maintenance activities, patches, updates, blah blah blah, spending the weekends at office, spending the nights on the troubleshooting an issue, right? That's where these companies are driving the change, saying we have XYZ things in our portfolio, we are offering it at less price, right? Now, what should we do? We can't do anything but to learn one that is in demand, right? So, uh, to understand the cloud or to understand the Azure, because now, of course, today we are talking about the Azure. So obviously, I have to drive you through the Azure concepts. So Azure is a cloud computing service created by Microsoft for building, deploying, and managing applications and services through the global network of Microsoft managed data centers. It is not just one data center that they have, not just two data centers that they have. They have globally more than 50 data centers. That too not just in one location, right? So all those data centers are being managed by Microsoft. We or the customers just have to deploy our applications and then start using the cloud services, right? So Microsoft is a cloud computing, sorry, Azure is a cloud computing service created by Microsoft. And you know what? I always believe learning technology, not the product. Because if you know driving a Honda car, do you think driving a Maruti car is different? No. Maybe a little bit of controls here and there, but it's going to be the same gearbox, same clutch, same accelerator, same brake, same steering, same margins. A little bit of change in look and feel of a car, the comfort of a car, right? Similarly, when you say infrastructure as a service delivery model, infrastructure as a service delivery model, well, I'll give you these inputs. Like there are two other delivery models also, but infrastructure as a service delivery model, it is the same that Azure is doing. It is the same that AWS is doing. It is the same that Oracle is doing. Same rest everybody can do. Okay. So by replacing Azure, if you put AWS here, AWS is a cloud computing service created by Amazon for building, deploying, and managing applications and services through a global network of AWS managed data centers. You see that now if you have learned AWS as well, right? And it provides software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and supports many different programming languages, tools, and frameworks, including both Microsoft specific and third party softwares. That means it supports both .NET, Python, PHP, Node.js, everything. Even AWS does the same, Google does the same. They have offerings into platform as a service, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, and they support all industry standard programming languages, including .NET and the other programming languages to support, I mean, to develop and to host the applications, right? I mean, I'm just giving you an idea that you need a trainer who can teach you the technology, not a product. It's not like you get into the portal, say right click here, left click here, you have a virtual machine created. That's fine, buddy. I can get that knowledge looking at a manual also, even the YouTube videos. You do a right click here, left click here, I have the machine running, but you need to understand the concepts of it, right? So well, Azure, like I said, is having more than 100 services in their portfolio today. 38 is a old number. They have more than 50 data centers today. And all those 50 data centers are having the building blocks of the data centers. That is compute, storage, networking, monitoring, and access control. For any data center to build, these are the building blocks. You've got the physical servers and operating system, virtualization layer. You've got the storage. You've got the networking in place. On top of that, they have designed like many services. Today, they have got 100 plus services in 50 plus different data centers. Okay. So, uh, of course, I agree that I'm not going in detail into the Azure things, but I'm just helping you understand what this cloud computing is always. But yes, now let me take you uh, to the Azure learning.